All right, today we're going to dive deep into something really fascinating, the internal world of the Odyssey brain. You know, that unique combination of autism and ADHD. We're going to map out the journey from a system that's been wired for pure survival all the way back to a place of safety and connection. Let's jump in.
So does this hit home for you? Your mind getting stuck in a loop, just rehearsing conversations, scenarios that haven't even happened? It's completely exhausting, right? And it can feel almost compulsive, like you can't turn it off. Well, I'm here to tell you you're not alone. This is a really core experience for a lot of people, and it points to something much deeper going on in the brain and the nervous system. And we are going to unpack exactly what that is.
But, to really understand why that mental looping happens, we first have to take a step back. We need to look at our natural state of being, that kind of balanced internal compass that we're all born with, and figure out how it can get so lost along the way.
Okay, I know this diagram looks a little intense, but stick with me. The idea here is actually pretty simple. At our core, we all have this body-mind connection. And this isn't about being book smart, it's a natural intelligence that grows from the inside out. It's this deep, fundamental wiring between our brain and our body. And when that connection is strong, it creates this genuine sense of balance, clarity, and, honestly, just curiosity about the world.
In this connection, it doesn't just appear all at once. It grows in stages, kind of like ripples in a pond. First, it starts with connecting to yourself, just getting a handle on your own internal world. Then, that ripple expands outward to connecting with other people, learning how to express what you need and want. And finally, it grows into this beautiful connection with the world at large, this real, genuine desire to be a part of something bigger than just yourself.
But here's the thing. That whole natural process, it's incredibly vulnerable. That inner signal can get all fuzzy, and the connection can actually break. This happens a lot during those really tough teenage years. So, how does a kid lose touch with their own inner compass? Well, it happens when they're caught in a storm of outside pressures. Constant judgment, punishments, having their needs totally ignored, not having any autonomy, even just dishonesty from the people around them. All of this teaches a really dangerous lesson, that what you feel on the inside is wrong, it's unreliable, or worse, it's not safe to listen to.
Now, let's zoom in on the brain itself for a second. During our teenage years, the brain goes through this massive spring cleaning process. It's called synaptic pruning. And as you can see here, this process can look really different in autistic and ADHD brains. For autistic brains, that pruning can be a bit too slow, leaving way too many connections, which can lead to sensory overload. And for ADHD brains, it could be the opposite, too fast, which can mess with things like attention.
And here is the absolute kicker. Experience is everything. The brain keeps the connections that it uses the most. So think about it. If a teenager's world is just full of stress, social anxiety, and constant overwhelm, which, let's be honest, mainstream school can be for a lot of kids, then their brain is literally rewiring itself for survival, not for curiosity, not for connection, but for survival.
And the result of all that is, well, it's pretty devastating. What you're seeing here is a system that gets locked into survival mode. The self becomes fragmented and the brain's resources get hijacked just to deal with perceived threats. The brain's default setting literally becomes, I am not safe. And this is what we call chronic nervous system dysregulation, when your body is just perpetually stuck in fight, flight, or freeze.
Okay, so let's bring this all back to where we started, that whole compulsive conversation rehearsal thing. What does it actually feel like to live inside this kind of survival wiring day in and day out?
A huge piece of this puzzle is a brain network called the default mode network, or DMN. You can think of it as the brain's inner radio station. It's responsible for all that internal chatter. Now in ADHD, this radio doesn't really have a working off switch, so the talk just keeps playing and playing, creating all this noise and stickiness in your head. And at the very same time, your nervous system is constantly, automatically running a program called neuroception. It's basically your body's unconscious security guard. It's always scanning your environment, and yeah, even your future thoughts, trying to decide, am I safe? Am I in danger? Am I about to be overwhelmed?
So when you put all of these things together, you get a perfect storm. The autistic tendency to persevere means the brain grabs onto a scenario and just hits replay. The overactive DMN means that inner radio is always on, full of static. And if there's a history of trauma, that rehearsal becomes a deeply learned survival strategy. So here's the most important part. It is not a choice. It's a system desperately trying to control uncertainty and prevent any future threat. Now, I know that all sounds pretty bleak, but I promise you, it is absolutely not the end of the story. There is a clear path back to feeling safe, and it all starts with reclaiming your own biology.
So, modern life basically has a playbook for disrupting our biology. But guess what? We have a counter-strategy. We reclaim it. This isn't about fighting your own system. It's about seeing wellness practices as an act of resistance. We can literally build safety from the inside out using tools like getting natural light, moving our bodies, and setting clear intentions.
Healing also happens with other people. We can build what's called relational safety using this amazing acronym, TRUST. It's about giving our time, showing genuine respect, truly seeking to understand someone, acting with sincerity, and telling the truth. When you create these kinds of predictable, nurturing rituals with someone, it gives their nervous system a chance to finally relax.
Okay, so let's get super practical. I'm going to walk you through a 5-step method you can use right in the moment whenever you feel that rehearsal loop kicking in to find your way back to safety. The method itself is really simple. It's pause and breathe, find the feeling, talk to the part, update and soften, and then just repeat it consistently. Think of it as a repeatable little routine to get back into your body and meet the part of you that's just trying so hard to protect you. Okay, step 1, pause and breathe. Just stop whatever you're doing. Try a slow inhale for a count of 4, and then a really long, slow exhale for a count of 8. That long exhale is a direct message to your nervous system. It's like saying, hey, we can downshift a little. We're safe enough right now. Step 2, find the feeling. I want you to shift your attention away from the story that's looping in your head and bring it down into your body. Where do you feel that lock? Is it a tightness in your chest, a lump in your throat, a knot in your stomach? Just find it. Then, see if you can gently name the core emotion that's underneath it all. Scared? Ashamed? Angry? Now for step 3, talk to the part. From that slightly calmer place, you can actually have a little conversation with the part of you that's in overdrive. Remember, this isn't all of you. It's just a protective part that's trying to help. So you can gently ask it, what are you so afraid is going to happen? And then just listen for the answer without any judgment. All right, step 4, update and soften. Once that part of you feels heard, you validate its fear. You can say something like, that makes total sense. No wonder you've been working so hard to protect us. Then you can offer it some new information like, hey, we're not in that old situation anymore. We're safe now. And you can ask it what it might need to relax its grip, even just a little bit. You're turning a rigid command into a gentle negotiation. You know, when you start to practice this consistently, something really powerful begins to happen. You don't just stop the negative loops, you actually unlock something brand new. This is the real gift of reconnection. The outcome of all this work is this profound shift from just surviving to what we can call metacognitive attunement. That's a fancy term, but it's basically an earned superpower to observe your own mind with real clarity. When your system finally feels safe, all that energy that was tied up in survival mode gets freed up. And that unlocks these incredible gifts: deep insight, empathy, and this amazing ability to solve complex problems creatively. So the big takeaway here is this: the journey back to yourself isn't about fixing something that's broken. It's about creating safety so that your true natural intelligence can finally come out and play. Which leaves us all with one final question to think about. What could you create if your system finally felt safe?